Everyone. I'm Stefan. This is Graham.
Hey.
This is Travis.
Hello.
And we're three different ones. Last year, we compiled a list of albums that we think are interesting and now talk about them for your enjoyment. Today, we're talking about The Low End Theory, which is a Tribe Called Quest's second album. We're going to go through every song on the listing, and then we're going to give our overall scores for it at the end. This is when we were building our list, we all kind of did research separately, and Tribe Called Quest is a group that I don't think of them terribly often, which is a shame because I really enjoy a lot of their music. I mean, I think Q-Tip, who is the primary songwriter for them, I think he's freaking awesome, and I love Fife Dog's voice, who's kind of the Robin to Tip's Batman, and I really enjoy this group. This was a bit of a deviation for them. Their debut, which is I think People's Instinctive Travels and the Paths of Rhythm, it's very, very different from what they do on Low End Theory, which is much more minimalist, not as much. I guess it's a little more scaled back musically. There's still interesting components to a lot of these songs, but it's a much simpler sound for them.
Right.
This was it helped popularize the hip hop subgenre of alternative hip hop, which incorporates a lot of like jazz and soul and a little more reggae elements to it, even some folk aspects to these songs. When I hear that genre, I don't really think of anyone other than this group, honestly.
Alt hip hop.
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's kind of funny.
It is. I mean, I think that they it works for them really well, and it definitely stood out. Considering we'll get into this later, but the context of where hip hop and rap were in the early '90s at the tail end of the '80s, this was very, very different. Musically, lyrically, the fact that they are almost satirizing the music industry, in particular, the way that rappers had to function, kind of ridiculing consumerism. I mean, there's a song where they talk about like date rape. I mean, that's crazy for really any recording artist to write songs about. So I love the fact that this album was a massive success. It is incredibly influential. Critics loved it. People loved it. It sold a ton of copies. I'm so happy this sort of music that goes against the current catches on. I could talk about them for hours, but I'll shut up. I mean, do y'all have any experience with Tribe Called Quest?
A little bit. I'm familiar with a couple of the tracks off this album. I've heard some stuff from them, but I was excited to do this one. I've always wanted to like really sit down and give them a full listen, so I was happy to see this one come up.
I had never checked them out. I definitely heard the name, but this was brand new for me. And I wasn't aware of like the subgenres of alternative hip hop, but that's interesting. Definitely the first thing I noticed about this was the upright bass.
Yeah.
Yep. 100%. Yeah. It kind of ties into, we did Illmatic, and I saw that Nas was influenced by this album, which I thought was really interesting because they're both are they out of Queens too?
That or New Jersey, which is essentially the same thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just, that whole like jazz kind of element to a lot of these hip hop beats, with some of the horns and upright bass, and I guess I always thought Nas was kind of the first for that, but I guess this this answers that question.
Yeah.
It's crazy though that this came out in 91. Like sitting here listening to it, I was like, man, this just sounds so clean and like so unique and kind of timeless. I mean, some of the songs, yes, they kind of ooze early 90s stuff, but a lot of them, I thought, man, this could have come out 5 years ago and I wouldn't have known.
I thought it was
a
great sounding album.
Regarding the sound, I kind of have a related question. I saw a quote that said that a lot of people have gone on record to say that this is like the Sgt. Pepper's of hip hop, and that they utilized, I think, some recording device or something like that was used by John Lennon in recording this album.
Oh,
like
really?
Some kind of multi-track thing or something. Yeah, like the exact one that he used for some recording session.
Weird.
So yeah, I thought that was a interesting tie-in. But yeah,
Sure.
I thought the production quality was really sound for a 91 hip hop album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm seeing that too. The mixing console, the Neve 8068 mixing console.
There you go.
Interesting. They recorded it in Manhattan.
Travis, by the way, they are from Queens. You were right. I've got that in my notes, so you were right. And I'm glad you mentioned Nas too, because the intro track Excursions has that background chatter, which I loved it. I every time that's come up on one of these albums, I mean, it's this and Illmatic and what's going on. If it's used properly, it's great, and I think it's great. I love this song.
I did too. I love Illmatic, and this was just like, to me, it gave me similar vibes, I guess, of Illmatic, but just kind of a different layout, with Q-Tip and Fife. And I guess was I don't want to. Well, no, I'll get to it when we get there.
All right.
I won't go into it yet, but yeah, I loved Excursions. I thought it was a solid opener. Super dark sounding too, A lot of these like jazzy undertone songs have this real like dissonant feel, I guess. Very, very dark and doomy.
I loved that opening.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, with the bass. Oh, yeah.
Real heavy hip hop feel too. Like once it all comes in.
Yeah. This was maybe my favorite track on the album.
Really?
Yeah.
I hope that doesn't mean you hated the rest of the album.
No, definitely didn't hate it.
Hard out of the gates.
Yeah.
This one just stood out to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I love the song.
Yeah. What about the next one?
Bugging Out.
More
upright bass.
Yeah. Heavy bass at the start. This one and Rap Promoter, I thought, are way more rap centered. I thought.
Yes, definitely.
I'm okay with it though. I obviously Q-Tip is the I think the most important part of this group. I love Fife Dog's voice though. It's so great. It has it kind of has some edge to it, but there's something about it that's almost kind of comical. I found out that he was like 5'3", and I think that explains a lot. Like this sounds like a little guy. Honestly, there is He just
little guy sound.
He just sounds short. I don't know how to explain it, but it just it makes total sense that he would be that.
I love the attack.
Yes.
Just that real which contrasted against the music. I really like that.
Yes.
You mean of his voice?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, he's way faster and
okay.
A little more aggressive.
Yes. Not as laid back as Q-Tip, who has a little more of a. I mean, Q-Tip kind of has a gravelly voice too, but there's a smoothness to his delivery that's it's not quite as harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Q-Tip's on the first track.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he had a pretty laid back delivery.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like this guy sounds like he's, not shouting, but like he's singing a bit louder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'd say so.
Yeah, I really liked Bugging Out. I thought it was a good track.
Same.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I feel like this is a very seems like a pretty accessible album to me.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Stephen, you're talking about some of the subject matter, it's pretty catchy and I don't know. I found it. We've done a lot of hip hop albums, but I was like, I feel like this one. I don't know. I can see it appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah,
I think it says a lot too about them. Just like the smoothness of delivery to be able to like you said, it is really accessible. It's not, to me, it's not abrasive in any capacity.
Yeah.
Even though, it does talk about, it touches on some social issues and whatnot. But yeah, I agree. It's easy to listen to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You can enjoy it. I mean, ignoring the the lyrical content.
It's not. I mean, it's not polarizing.
No.
You get, there's some aggressiveness, there's some laid backness. It's not gonna. I don't see it bothering anybody. Oh man, I just can't stand A Tribe Called Quest.
Me neither.
I can't see that, which is pretty amazing. I think to be able to pull something like that off.
Definitely.
Because I guess there are a lot of people that are just kind of turned off by hip hop, rap in general.
Yeah,
definitely. Especially when they made this album.
Sure.
This was the heyday of the aggressive hardcore, the much angrier sound. We've got a Public Enemy album that we're reviewing soon. I mean, that is that was considered what a lot of hip hop artists were going for. That very intense, harsh, in your face, just power sound.
Just
there was
balls to the wall aggressive.
Yeah, and the image of rappers too was one that it was thought you have to be this hyper macho.
Yep.
Super masculine. I mean, you got to remember this was at the very end of the '80s, which is the peak of the super buff, super rigid, intense alpha male, and that
peak
absolutely carried. Yes, and that absolutely carried over to the rap industry in the way that artists wanted to present themselves and to they wanted to have that as part of their songs. So this was very, very different and against the grain, which I love that. Love that. I love it stands out.
It's so cool listening to this too, because it's we have kind of touched on quite a few early '90s albums like Illmatic and ATLiens, and even those two, I was like, oh man, I can hear where they borrowed influence from, right out of the gate. You know what I mean? I always thought ATLiens had kind of an alternative hip hop sound, not to, just use the exact term, but there was something different about it. It wasn't real on the nose. It seemed to take it a step further.
Yes.
Music wise, the instrumentation and whatnot is a lot more interesting than just some drum and bass machine. It was more than that.
Yeah, I think what made this album for me was, there's definitely a live band.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a drum machine.
Yep.
And that's not to say that, you can't make good music with a drum machine or whatever, but I don't know, for me this was just much more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What'd y'all think about a rap promoter?
I loved the that cool like rippling sound that you hear at the beginning before the drums and Q-tip start. This one though, as far as just me thinking about it after the listen, this is the one where the lyrical content kind of overshadows everything else. What did y'all think?
You mean the diggy dang da da dang da dang diggy?
Okay, there's that, which is it's obviously timeless, but it's also like this is where you start to hear the kind of the satirizing the rap industry, because that's what this is all about. Like it's the song is about someone who's kind of being squeezed and screwed over by a shady promoter, which is almost redundant to say. It's like it's one of those things that, like, I mean, you've got to have your hype man, but they're usually, I mean, it's like trying to find an agent, like they're usually scumbags, and that's right. There's a humor to this song that for me that's what stood out to me the most about it. But what did y'all think?
Yeah, no, I agree. That's pretty much exactly what I noted about it.
Yeah, that's a good analysis of the meaning of it. And you mentioned the drums. I mean, I think it's just a great sounding drum kit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the quality of all the recordings, and I guess I feel like I might have liked this album more than in any of the other hip hop albums from this era than we've done.
That's awesome.
That is glad to hear it.
I know.
Yeah,
me too. That's very cool.
And like I've enjoyed those other ones too, but I don't know, man. This one just kind of just gelled with me a lot more. Yeah.
No, hey, enough said, man. Glad to hear it. You want to talk about Butter?
Oh yeah,
Butter. Yeah. Decent track. It's chill.
Yeah,
I'd say out of the first four, that's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, I didn't love it that much. I mean, it's kind of funny, I guess.
Yeah.
It sounds more dated than the others, I think.
Mm-hmm. It
That's
sounds
fair.
of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Stefan?
I wasn't expecting.
What you think of Butter?
This one, like for me, I barely noticed the lyrics on this one. I did kind of like the intro. It had a little bit of a hypnotic sound with those droning keys. I thought the chorus was kind of fun, but I think I'm more in alignment with y'all. It in terms of the opening songs, it's fairly forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Rather talk about verses from the abstract, personally.
There's some big mentions in this song.
Yeah, there are.
Some name drops.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know there was any kind of like Busta Rhymes tie-in to Tribe Called Quest until
this was his big debut. This was his kind of initial claim to fame.
Right. Yeah, it's like as soon as I heard his name come up in this song, I was like, wait. I gotta hop on Wikipedia real quick.
Yep.
What did he go on to do? Was he solo career or was
solo?
Okay.
solo artist.
Huge as a solo artist.
Yes.
Because that's a name that I know, but
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember his Lambos.
from Cribs.
From Cribs, there you go, and magazines. Yep.
Oh God.
Old Busta Rhymes.
Freaking
I
Cribs.
loved the bass line in this song.
Yeah. Ron Carter is destroying it.
I thought that was a standout component.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's I loved the guitar too. Just so
Mm-hmm.
much funk in this song.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Vania Mojica, I think her name is. I think I loved her voice and with the chorus. I even liked the fact that it starts with Q-Tip rambling about a dream. This might be my favorite song on the album, honestly.
Really?
Yes, and that is
Okay.
not a low bar for me, by the way. 'Cause
Mhm.
I liked most of these songs, but I really enjoy this song, largely just because I feel differently about it every time I hear it. I notice something different. I'm usually in a different mood every time I listen to it. It just it affects me different ways, and it stays with me too, and I appreciate that about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I thought this one was solid.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point, a lot of the tracks kind of run together for me, but it's also, my first experience with this album. I'm sure I would notice a lot more, nuances and details if I, kept listening to it.
Kind of the same thing for me too. Like as I'm looking through my notes on these, I'm like, man, I really would have to go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot on here. I mean, there are a lot of tracks.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of good stuff. But it's like, man, how did that one go?
Yeah. Yeah.
I just remembered I liked it, but I don't specifically remember.
Yeah.
Certain parts.
A lot of them had that kind of similar, backdrop of the bass and drums,
right.
which is, fortunately, I like that.
Right.
But yeah, it was sometimes hard to kind of, look back exactly what you're saying with the notes and say, okay, what was the difference between that one and that one? And a lot of it, I'm sure, is in the lyrics. Like, Stefan, I'm sure, you've heard this album way more than we have. So you can probably speak a lot more about the lyrics.
Yeah. It's that happens for sure. That's I found myself definitely comparing it to other albums of this music genre that we've gone through. Show business. I mean, I had Enter the Wu-Tang and all caps in my notes. That was like, oh my god,
dude! I was thinking that too. Listening to this, I was like, man, this. I hear some similarities from that album too.
Yes.
Which is great because I mean, this is probably my favorite time period for this style of music. So
yeah,
it works well.
Definitely.
I love the bass line in this one too.
Yes. Yeah.
Was it that little quiet kind of horn part that reminded you of Wu-Tang Clan?
That was definitely part of it. It was also the fact that there were so many rappers on this song that they were doing like the call and response format. It was a lot of like kind of show offing going on with the lyrics. There was a lot of humor in this song, which I appreciated. It had kind of that quicker beat going, which just that's always what I think of when I think of like, Mystery of Chess Boxing and all of those packed songs from Into the Wu-Tang. So yeah, just there's so many. I mean, I'm sure there are comparisons you could make that I'm not mentioning, but yeah, that's what comes to mind to me. So I guess you could say that this helped inspire that one too.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that was after. That was after this. Oh yeah.
I like the people got to stick their nose in the business. There were some good lines in that song for sure.
Oh yes. I
really enjoyed it.
Got to speak on the cesspool. It's the rap industry, and it ain't that
right.
Cool. Love it.
Love it.
Love it. Love it. Love the self-deprecating. always support it.
So vibes and stuff. I tried to listen to this album last night, and I was really tired. I fell asleep.
Man!
Fell asleep in the middle of this song.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So I feel like I can't really speak on this one. All I had before I passed out was, dude, I couldn't even write. I put pretty decent truck.
You're right.
Yeah.
You are.
Pretty decent accurate. Truck.
Decent truck on vibes and stuff.
Oh, goodness. I was fresh, though, for the next one, but do y'all have anything else to add to vibes and stuff?
Well, I was going to say that the intro sounds like it was sampled from... I don't know. Do you know what that was sampled from, Stefan? Or was that live? Because it sounds like a Coltrane record or something.
Oh, it very well could have been. There are a ton of jazz samples on this album. I couldn't find like a complete list that corresponds to each track, but that would not surprise me at all.
I just looked it up. It says it's a sample from Grant Green. A song called "Down Here on the Ground." Grant Green, I think, is I want to say he's a guitarist, a jazz guitarist.
Grant Green?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, and I've
guitarist.
Checked him out before, but it just kind of has that, I don't know, like late 50s kind of sound at the beginning. I like that.
Oh, yeah. That eerie chime you keep hearing. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. This could put someone to sleep. No, that's really all I've got. I just, I lulled the shout out to the Arsenio Hall show, which is about as 90s as you can get.
Yeah, I feel like Arsenio was mentioned like at least twice on this album.
Yeah, I mean that was a big deal.
Sure.
There's a black guy getting his own talk show at this point. I mean, I'm pretty sure this predates the Oprah Winfrey show. I think she was still doing like the news when this came out, or maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's very rare, especially because like Arsenio is kind of like an edgier comedian too. He wasn't not exactly Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we talk about the infamous date rape?
Oh yeah, this one.
That's the first one I was awake for. So
yeah.
Yep, I'm definitely down.
All right, what do y'all got?
I didn't expect this song.
Yeah.
I thought the beat was really interesting and unique. Like I really liked the backing music to this.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's a dark. It's a dark song.
Yeah. Oh,
it's a very. I mean, it's not that bass and drums. Just that real, just steady tempo. I mean, they draw out all these lyrics, and it's the fact that the classic example of a date rape is just it's said so matter of factly. It's really kind of unsettling to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm with Graham on this one. That this was a very much it wasn't. This one was kind of tougher to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have the lighter quality of some of these earlier songs. I mean, it's stuck in my
enjoyed it,
head.
though.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did too. I did too. I'm glad it's on here.
Right.
I love that they did the song.
Yeah.
I
And
like
it's
that
they
darker
put.
sound.
I think it's perfectly placed too. Like near the center of the album, it's got a great punch to it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think Check the Rhyme too it's a
Oh
nice
yeah.
contrast coming from that song.
Yes. Yes.
It's kind of a fun track.
Oh yeah.
I really like the instrumentation too in Check the Rhyme. Now, this was a single, wasn't it, from this album?
I believe. Let me see.
I think this scenario and
Yes. Yes, it is. You are right.
maybe one other. I could be wrong. Tons of horns though, super funky.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. With the bass and the horns. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's great beat. I mean, just a blast of a song.
Mm-hmm. A nice pick me up coming from the previous.
Yes, for sure.
Um,
I think I'm with Trav. I think that the instrumentation stands out more than
Mm-hmm.
than the lyrics, the rappers do.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
What y'all think of Everything is Fair?
When you're living in the city,
This one was annoying to me.
it was kind of weird. It's the from really the whole thing. The singing at the start over that guitar just sounded odd to
Mm-hmm.
me. There's a lot of like weird ambient sounds going on in the background of this one. I guess this is kind of more, I don't even know if you can use this term, but like experimental. It's like they're trying to put you in like the atmosphere of like a violent part of town or a rough ghetto, because you have like the gunfire going off halfway
Mm-hmm.
through. It's very like discordant. I don't know. This one, I could.
It was decent. At best.
It didn't do much for me, honestly.
Right. Agreed. I really liked Jazz.
Yes, definitely.
I really, really enjoyed that track.
Yeah, even the turntable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It had a very like spacey kind of fusiony sound.
Yeah.
Yeah, real like echoey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had
Yeah,
fun
this
with
one
that
was
one.
nice. This one was nice.
I like the Zulu Nation getting a shout out.
Dude, I
call.
feel like Zulu was mentioned in so many songs.
They mention it in Bugging Out. I think that's like that's the name of a group or like I don't know, like a rap super team that they had. It's I think it's more of like an Easter egg for Tribe Called Quest fans.
Gotcha.
But yeah, that's also very very 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Where I don't. It's hard. I wanted to kind of say this to the end, but like rap groups now, I don't think we really have them. I feel like most big
Migos?
hip hop artists are. Oh, that's right. That's a good one.
I can't think of any others though, really.
Yeah,
And
and even
I couldn't even tell you a song by Migos. I just always thought that was one person.
and well, I mean, it's the guy I think of. Is it Quavo? It's Quavo. I think that's the primary face of that group. And I don't think I can think of another member.
I thought there was like is Offset in that? Let me see. It is. It's Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And there is one. Okay.
That's in
Fair
Migos.
Migos.
Yes. Yes.
Migos. Are the Migos brothers that just popped up on related searches?
Huh.
The hip hop trio.
What'd y'all think of Sky Pager?
Uh,
Not much, honestly.
yeah. There was a lot of references to pagers on this album.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read something about this being kind of like a call out of consumerism, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which I mean, really doesn't change anything from my opinion
No.
of it. But
No.
What is a sky pager?
You got me, man.
Oh, it sounds like there was a Motorola Sky Pager.
Oh, there you go.
I guess that was a type of pager.
It was
Yep.
a very high-end pager. They'd mastered
Mm.
communications with it.
So it's like they were calling out like the iPhone of the day,
Yeah.
maybe.
I just saw this quote from Q-Tip. It serves an important communicative function for a young professional with a full calendar. There you
Okay.
go.
There you go.
All right.
Had your day planner in there and everything.
Man, I don't know if I've ever seen a pager.
Yeah, they're pretty. You can probably find them in like those discount electronic stores, but
Yeah. But
that's-
I mean, even when I was a kid,
oh yeah,
back when they were used, like I don't really remember seeing them.
yeah,
They were all concealed on the belt.
yeah. They all came with the clasp that you could hook to your belt loop.
Right.
Oh, nice.
It's where all the dads wore them.
Stay strapped
Yep.
with that pager.
Phone clip.
I can't say I liked what.
Oh yeah,
honestly. No.
I don't know.
I liked the funky opening, man, with those electronic boppy notes. That was fun.
I don't know, man. I just couldn't get into it. It just kind of seemed like here's a list of a lot of what-based questions. Let's make a song.
Yeah. It they did get kind of cutesy with this one, so that's fair. I loved though how esoteric Q-Tip is, like how he just mentions things that just I feel like hardly like I mean he mentions like freaking Ralph Cramden from the Honeymooners. Like I doubt he knows more than like 10 people who actually watched that show. I mean I like it just so and he ends that verse with coke snorting. I mean
Yeah. No, it's dude. It kind of reminds me of like Big Boy and Andre. Like,
yeah.
Some of the stuff that would come up in those songs, I'm like, wow.
Yes.
I'm really surprised they referenced that.
Yeah.
So it's always kind of fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
I get why you were not a fan. I mean, this is the kind of song that is tailor made for a trivia brained lunatic like me who just catches all this stupid shit that doesn't mean anything. I love this kind of song, but yeah, I would understand why someone else would not be as fond of it.
Is this the last song on the album, or is Scenario?
Scenario is the last one. It's this one has Busta.
This was
on
the single, right? The main single.
It's the third single off this one.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I had actually heard this song.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Was it on a video game?
Maybe it was. I don't know. Honestly, I've heard it somewhere, but I liked it. This one's got Busta Rhymes too.
It does. He does. He reminded me so much of Old Dirty Bastard from the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah,
just that gruff, raspy voice, kind of a bit of a slur to the way that he raps. I love his voice.
I
Still
do too. It was a nice added touch to this track.
Fully agreed. And
super jazzy instrumentation too.
Yes. Sounded like we almost got an organ playing there for a little bit, and those kind of droning notes you hear them pretty much throughout the song. I think this is a great finish.
I thought so too. I thought this album opened very strongly and closed very strongly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, here we are.
Here
Time
we
for last
are.
assessment. Graham, I'm so happy that you responded well to this album.
Right.
I
Yeah.
know a lot of rap fans who actually don't care for this one, honestly. So I wasn't pessimistic on how you'd feel, but I was curious. I was wondering how that would go. Would you like to start off the final grades for excuse me, for Low End Theory?
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it a 7.
Nice.
Like I've said before, not a huge, hip hop listener, and I don't know that I would, necessarily go back to this, but it was a fun listen and a good sounding recording. So yeah, I got to go with the 7.
All right. Very nice.
I'm going to go 7.5.
All right. I'm kind of, part of me wants to go 9, but I think that's largely fueled by like 90s nostalgia, which
Dude,
is
go 9.
yeah, but I think like the songs themselves, though, if I'm being, I still really like it and love listening to it, and I'm definitely going to again. But I do think that the overall experience, it's more of an 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are definite low points to it where I do kind of tune out a little bit, and some of the musical elements, which I think are great. Not all of them have aged as well, so I would probably say 8 out of 10 for me.
Is there a Tribe Called Quest album that you would recommend above this?
I think, God, no, I don't.
Okay.
I think, though, if you were going to start, though, I would definitely say one of the first two. If it's not Low End Theory, I would say check out People's Instinctive Travels, for sure. I think that one's great too, and is also I think it's very approachable.
Awesome.
Yeah, and of course, I'd recommend this to anyone. As Graham so eloquently pointed out, it's pretty easy to get through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised this was my first time listening to this, because
I've
heard,
actually.
These guys are kind of pioneers in this field, but I really never hear them come up that often in conversation.
Yeah, it's I know. Well, Five Dog passed away about 5 years ago. Diabetes, I think.
Yep.
And Q-Tip, I think he's kind of. We've mentioned Nas. I think Tip's in a similar boat in that he's been primarily stuck it out on the East Coast and doesn't really have the celebrity profile that a lot of other rappers from that area do. I mean, you get a guy like RZA from Wu-Tang. I mean, he's been doing like movies since the 90s. Mm-hmm. And so have Method Man and all the rest of that group, and a lot of the other rappers from that area have a much larger clout than he does. I mean, I still think he's putting out music, and I haven't heard a lot of it, but he doesn't have that kind of celebrity cachet that right. I think, unfortunately, you really need in today if you want your music to reach people on a wide ranging level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all I got, though, on Low End Theory. Go listen to it, though. If you're still with us, thank you so much. Feel free to like, subscribe, share the episode, get the word out on 3 different ones. We'll be back soon with more album talk, and we'll see you.